Hello and welcome to my recap of 3 TED Talks. The first one is by Julia Sweeney and it's called It's Time for the Talk. And Julia Sweeney is the mother to a young daughter who recently began to study biology in school. In biology class they've been talking about how frogs reproduce themselves, and quickly she starts asking Julia questions. Those questions led to Julia explaining how all the animals reproduce themselves, including humans. One thing led to another, and Julia and her daughter sat and watched animals having sex on the computer. Afterwards, her daughter asks if there are videos of humans mating online. Julia instantly says no, and realizes that she have just introduced her daughter into the world of internet porn. The second talker is called Maysoon Saeed, and her talk is called I Got 99 Problems, Palsy is Just One. And Maysoon Saeed is an Arabic comedian with cerebral palsy, which is a handicap she got when she was delivered as a baby. In the beginning of her talk she says, "I'm not drunk, but the doctor who delivered me was." Meaning it was the doctor's fault, and really pointed out the elephant in the room to make everyone relax. She talks about her career and how it was like growing up in a Muslim family with a handicap. She had a very special relationship with her father, and she also talks about that. The third talk is by Casey Neistat, and it's called High School Stories. And Casey Neistat is a movie and filmmaker who's living in New York, and his career has really began from the bottom, and he's now close to the top. Casey's talk is about opportunity and obligation. He talks about how he moved to New York when he was around 20 and had no idea how he would begin his path to the goal that was making movies for a living. He started by working at some restaurants and being a dishwasher, and also give out the morning paper for the post office. He says in a speech that he really tried to seize every opportunity and be the best in what he was doing. So if he was a dishwasher, he would be the best dishwasher there ever was. And that is the philosophy that he's been living by ever since. And he says in this talk that when you have the opportunity to follow your dream, there's an obligation for you to do so. I didn't really have a plan while I looked through and listened to all the talks, but these 3 stood out a bit. The first 2 I saw on the website www.ted.com, and I thought hey, those are kind of funny. And I liked how these women really owned the stage. Both Sweeney and Saeed were confident and had a good story and executed it perfectly. Julia Sweeney talked mostly just a funny story without an important message, but Saeed's talk really inspired me, and I thought that it proved how far you can come even when the odds are against you. But Casey Neistat was the best for me. I have followed Casey now for almost a year on YouTube and all of his social media accounts. He really inspires me, and I think that he's living an awesome life, doing what he really loves. And I found his TED Talk by accident when I was watching one of his vlogs on YouTube, and I thought that, hey, I could use this. He talked for about 20 minutes in front of a school class, so the audio and the video wasn't the best, but his contents, I think, were. And also, like I said earlier, I think that Sweeney's talk is just a good and funny story that you can share with anyone of your friends every day, and you don't really need to have a purpose by telling it. But then Maysoon Saeed and Casey Neistat's talks you can use for many different purposes. Their talks are great for readings, and especially for young people who hasn't really figured out what to do in their lives yet. Because Saeed is saying, it doesn't matter who you are, because you can do whatever you want. And Neistat is saying, when you see the opportunity coming against you, then take it for yourself. I believe that these talks are important, and that people who has made it into the business reach out to young people and push them into whatever they want to do. The content in these 2 talks by Said and Neistat I believe are reliable, because Said is very personal while talking about her past and the family, and shows pictures from her childhood. Case Neistat is also very reliable, because I've heard him talk about this before and also in front of other famous people. And like I said, I've followed him for a year now and all of his work. And finally, Julia Sweeney's talk, I don't really have any idea whether it's true or not, but it doesn't really affect the story, because it isn't based on whether she really has a daughter or if the daughter is going to school or anything, because it's just a good story, and yeah, the content isn't really affected by whether it's true or not. So thank you for listening to my recap of all those TED Talks, and yeah, this was my presentation. Thank you.